Howdy there. Before the video starts, I just want to say thank you for the support I've gotten from my last two videos. It has been amazing. My goal of 2,000 subs by the end of the year might need to change with the amount of support you guys have given me, and I just want to say thank you. And Elijah Part 3 is coming. But in today's video, given the recent Fallout content I've done, me and my friend, who are big Fallout fans, decided to discuss/review the new Fallout TV show, and try not to ramble to the best of our ability. Other than that, please leave your thoughts in the comments, I'd love to hear them. But if you'd be so kind, leave a like, subscribe, and share the video around. Enjoy the discussion, and I'll see you in Elijah Part 3. How do you begin this, eh?
War. War never changes.
I don't know, if you ask a Roman soldier and a World War I soldier, they'll say things changed quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't know, they kind of change constantly.
Fallout. Me and you have been a big fan of Fallout since, well, for me it'd be 2010 when I got into Vegas when it came out.
I think that means I've been a Fallout fan since I was literally, I think, 7 or 8. So I've been a fan for a while.
Yeah, because your first one was free and my first one was New Vegas.
Yeah.
So, Fallout, a game set in a post-apocalyptic future where China and America and the rest of the world decided it'd be fun to nuke everyone over dwindling resources.
The world never left the 1950s, or at least that kind of style of culture.
But recently, Amazon, with Bethesda, trying to find any other groups that worked on the show?
So, the new Fallout TV show is created by Graham Wagner and Geneva Robertson Dorette for Amazon Prime, and is based off the role-playing game franchise, which is very good, which I love a lot, and so do you.
Yes, I also read the first 2 lines of Wikipedia for this.
It's such a good... We love Wikipedia.
We love Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. Fallout is a big franchise that me and you're a big fan of, and have been a fan of for more than 10 years now.
Yeah.
Your first game was Fallout 3, my first game was New Vegas. I didn't really... I played it back when it came out, but I didn't really get more into it until about 2012/13. And I replayed the game and just fell in love with it. I then played Fallout 3, and I also fell in love with that. Didn't play the classics until only a few years ago. I think even then, the only games I haven't played are Vault Tactics and Brotherhood of Steel, and I will not be playing one of them because I don't have an original Xbox. Other than that, I've played all of the games.
I've only not played Tactics, Fallout 2, and also the critically acclaimed Brotherhood of Steel.
I've never finished Fallout 2.
Tough
That
game.
tutorial annoyed me after I finished it. I finished it and I never touched it after I finished it. Yeah, I bet 1. Obviously, New Vegas, 3, 4. I think we bet 76. I think we didn't.
We did the main story together. And yeah,
I think we didn't completely finish it. So modern Fallout said about 200 years after the war. Fallout 1's about 70 years? Something like that. And it follows a 1950s aesthetic atom punk world where robots and other crap like power armor are a thing.
In this world, people have been able to survive in vaults for over 200 years, which is where we meet up with our main characters of the show, who live in Vault 33.
People have survived 200 years and have formed their own little ragtag bits, some becoming more nations, other places being less developed, kind of just random bits of towns and villages. The first episode takes place right before the bombs, which is just a perfect, Hitchcock's bomb situation where you know what's going to happen, but it's just a matter of time of when's it going to happen. You're
left there waiting in anticipation as you follow one of the main characters of the show. It creates this really good, unique tension as you get a little bit attached already. You're like, oh no, I don't want to see it.
The character of Cooper Howard. And that scene alone is enough, in my opinion, to sell the show.
Yeah. They've done a really good job of capturing the pre-war world in Fallout.
To give a short summary that's not spoiler filled, I would say show is a great piece of bringing the Fallout world into live action and gives something for both fans of the video games and non-fans of the video games.
If you want an intense, action-packed show with a great mystery that overarches it and you follow throughout it, I'd highly recommend this show.
If you don't want spoilers and you're curious about the show and you play the Fallout games, definitely watch it. If you haven't played the Fallout games, I'd say just honestly put on the first 10 minutes, and if you're not hooked by it, then just leave it. But honestly, God, I feel you get hooked by the first 10 minutes alone.
Yeah, as someone whose interest in the show was admittedly very wavering due to my own skepticism with how good it would be, the first 10 minutes really captured me and made me realize that I was in for something good.
Yeah, because me and you were also. I was like not completely like, oh, it's going to be great, but I was very much more optimistic about the show than you were.
Yeah, I was thinking it would be either middling or Halo and Paramount.
I love being a Halo fan. I love seeing how Fallout rose across sales by 7,500% across Europe. I love that. Or spoiler discussion. Yeah, so after the first scene, where it's like the bombs go off. You see the beginning of the Great War. We go to 200-ish years in the future where we're met with Lucy McLean, who is our first, I don't say first main character in the show because you do get Cooper Howard in the first episode.
Yeah, one of our first main characters. And the first one we're introduced to properly, I'd say.
Who lives in a vault. In a weird kind of like you have to apply for marriage. Now, the vaults are underground bunkers that were made by Vault Tech, which was a company before the war, to house humanity when the end came. Since it's now the spoiler part, the vaults were a bit more than that. There were experiments done either for just shits and giggles or for organizations like the Enclave, and as we later find out, for other corporations. But she gets, she's very much, if you play the Fallout games, she's very much the good karma character. Yeah. She does things right. She doesn't want to upset people. She wants to do the right thing. And disaster strikes the vault when the group from Vault 32, because this is a three-way interconnecting vault, which we've not seen before. The thing that I can kind of remember is like Vault 19 had the split,
Yeah.
like two overseers and all that stuff. But it was still the same vault. While this one is like three separate vaults, like with a corridor connecting them all.
And we discover that Vault 32 has actually been captured by a so-called raider group, as Lucy's dad is then kidnapped by this group and taken out to the wasteland.
Yes, and everyone who's played Fallout 4 and 3, yes.
We're back at it again.
We must leave the vault to find a family member. I know, it's strangely enough a kind of half-breed between 3 and 4. In 3, you will find your dad, Liam Neeson, who is trying to fix the wasteland water in the capital wasteland because it's irradiated to all hell, because who would have guessed the capital of the United States got bombed to absolute living hell. But then in 4, you're looking for your son, and you find him, and he's an evil son of a bitch.
Also should mention that one of the other characters we're introduced to is Lucy's brother, who is...
with his friend, what's his name?
You mean Chet?
Is that his name?
I think it's Chet. Yeah, it's Chet. He's like Lucy's, Lucy's, like, first boyfriend.
I don't want to say boyfriend, it was definitely...
shouldn't forget to mention cousin.
Cousin, yeah. All right, we're going to move past that because, I'm not really surprised that happened. It is a vault in the world. So yeah, that is Lucy, and her journey is to leave the vault and find her father. There's been kidnapped by a person called Moldaver, who seems to know her father. I don't remember if he recognizes her at the beginning. He might have, he might not. Like, he doesn't initially.
Actually, yeah, I think he did recognize her because he knew who she was, but didn't want to say it in front of Lucy, I think.
And then we're introduced to our next character, Maximus, who becomes a squire in the Brotherhood of Steel. Now, the Brotherhoods are shown in this show. I think I like their portrayal.
Yeah.
They're not too goody. They're not good, but they're not like super evil. If you know what I mean. They're not like Enclave evil. They're not Follows Apocalypse good.
They're
that
gray.
Weird gray zone.
Yeah.
Where like they took in Maximus after some tragedy happened, and he was like left alone, and they took him in and they raised him. Now they've definitely went a bit more religious in this, which I can see the Brotherhood becoming more religious.
Yeah, I think it works really well, and it's a very interesting kind of evolution for the Brotherhood to take from the games.
Because each chapter is kind of unique in its own way. And I know like a lot of people complain about Bethesda's Fallout's always being like kind of destroyed, no one rebuilding. I think the show actually shows the Brotherhood in a stage of like reconnecting and becoming stronger. Because there's orders from the Commonwealth where Fallout 4 is taking place, meaning that the Minutemen or the Brotherhood ending took place, not the Institute or the Railroad ending.
Yeah.
And then somehow Elder Maxon has made even more connections to the West Coast, kind of like making a new era for the Brotherhood. Because, a main problem, they're very isolationist, but Lyons and then Maxon kind of ended isolationism. not in like a full on anybody can become a Brotherhood member, but like they had to prove themselves to get in their ranks. At least that's what it was for like the East Coast Brotherhood, or they just save orphans, like the case of Maximus. But
Yeah.
Maximus is very much the neutral karma character. He does good, he does bad. He's probably most like the player, strangely enough, which is kind of interesting that he's probably the least favorite character
Yeah.
out of the three.
I was gonna say, a lot of people feel that he's very underdeveloped next to Lucy and the next character we're about to talk about. But I'd argue he is very like interesting in his own right because
There's a
he,
lot of his acting where he doesn't need to say much and he portrays a lot
yeah,
in
for
those silent
physicality,
moments. Yeah.
he's someone who's kind of got his own view of the world through his own experiences, and those views constantly get challenged throughout the show, and especially by the other characters.
He's got like the whole like propaganda of like, oh, the Brotherhood are noble warriors to save the wasteland from themselves.
Yeah.
To save the wastelands from themselves. Brotherhood in reality is like, wow, that's a nice piece of technology you have there. Give me that technology.
I also find it interesting how in this show, like the Brotherhood almost has adapted to this full-on just like Full Metal Jacket style bullying, as we see Maximus get constantly picked on by other members of like the Brotherhood. He's someone that isn't very liked, but we see that at least he somewhat impresses the elder of this group for his drive, and whether that
Mhm.
drive is selfish or not, it's something that captures his interest because it's something that a lot of other Brotherhood members lack. He feels.
Yeah, it's definitely the case of like there's a lot more gun ho Brotherhood members than the whole scribes,
Yeah.
which might be a part of like Maxon's, because Maxon was very much a warrior, so maybe that's kind of has repercussions. But at the same time, I don't know, just it's also a military organization, and bullying is kind of natural in that kind of environment. Well, I'm guessing. I am not
Yeah.
anyone who's served.
We've never really been in the military. At least not yet. We got time.
Well, you know, when the Great War kicks off.
Something that does I do find interesting about the Brotherhood of Steel in this show is the inclusion of actress Celia Mendez-Jones, who plays a non-binary member of the Brotherhood called Dane. I see some fans, being very, very vocal about their opinions on that, and I think that's kind of stupid considering look at New Vegas, which is their, the Holy Spirit game, which is probably like I'd argue the queerest Fallout.
Bisexuals have got bonus damage.
The role she plays to Maximus though is quite interesting because it sets up this idea that Maximus is someone who will do some underhanded shit to get what they want. Is you're led to believe that Maximus sabotaged Dane's chance to become a squire
Yeah, and how do they do that?
by shoving some nice little razors in their bit.
Lovely. A very good character. I don't know, Maximus is that character who wants to progress, who wants to do well, and
Yeah,
tries everything, but he just doesn't quite get it. Well, Dane is somebody who does do well and does get it, but doesn't want it.
Maximus is someone who grows throughout it as well. As we see, Maximus is kind of, I'd argue, not really a clean slate, but someone who is very at the beginning of their journey, and by the end of the Fallout show, you see them evolve because of the experience they've had to a point where they're just so jaded and done with it all that they don't take credit for they try not to, but it gets forced upon them.
It's more that like Lucy is very much a clean slate beginning. Well, Maximus has like he knows the wasteland to a degree. Obviously he grew up a little bit and then was taken in by the Brotherhood, and obviously wasn't out in the wasteland, but like was
Yeah.
taught it by people who deal with the wasteland. So he's not dumb in the sense of what he'll come across, but it's still like just because you know what the world's like doesn't mean you're going to be prepared for what you find.
I feel that's also perfectly shown for his first mission with Knight
Night
Titus,
Titus.
who what a
Was
night.
all of us. It was all us at one point when,
Yeah.
something snuck up behind us and it was very big and scary.
My first time at Quarry Junction, perfectly shown for television.
Or like me playing Fallout 4 in the middle of the glowing scene and just something appearing behind me.
I think it's quite interesting how there's in the beginning when you're you see Knight Titus when they're interrogating Maximus, they talk with this very commanding voice, which they use for this something they've added in this in this show. It's like the intercom voice, which I do kind of like. It took me a sec, but it really grew on me. And it's quite funny when in that moment you see them immediately panic and this massive, deep, booming voice suddenly becomes quite pathetic as they're like, fuck, 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 fuck.
I enjoyed that. Because yeah, I don't know, each game's all had like a slight, like 3, New Vegas, and 4 all have very different ways people sound with power armor on. Like they all sound like they've got something on, like something covering their mask, or like some type of like speaker thing. But this one felt like a more booming, like commanding, almost authoritarian figure voice spot. I don't know what I'm saying. Kill myself. All right. Moving on. All right.
Let's get to the final main character, and honestly, the best character in the show.
The Ghoul, played by Walton Goggins, which is a really strange second name, but hey, I'm not one to judge.
I love my man Walter Goggins, and I love the Ghoul. The Ghoul is this badass gunslinger with the most horrible set of morals. Someone who's been alive in the wasteland for so long that they are just jaded to whatever is thrown at them.
It's strange. Walter Goggins basically plays two characters who are the same person. He
Yeah.
plays Cooper Howard, who is the Ghoul, but before the war, he was an actor that did really well in cowboy movies. But his wife, what's her name? Betty. His wife Betty, who works quite high up in Vault Tech. And if you already played the games, you already know Vault Tech's a shitty fucking company. And you kind of get to see this kind of like weird acceptance / denialism of like, oh, the bombs, oh yeah, like it's gonna happen, but like people don't really like. Okay, if I knew the war was going to end, I'd be panicking and getting like preparations. Well, people seem to be like, oh, it's going to end, so let's carry on today.
For the people that work at Vault-Tec, the idea of the end of the world is more of how can we profit off it. And we see that kind of shown well through a lot of the flashback scenes with Cooper Howard, as we see him slowly grow to realize how suspicious and disturbing Vault-Tec is. One of my
the thing is,
scenes...
it's not even like money. If you know what I mean. It's just to see who wins the best corporation.
Yeah. One of my favorite scenes in the show, which also is probably my favorite writing, is when Cooper Howard is talking to someone who's starred in a couple of his movies, and they discuss the end of the world, where his friend describes it as the ranchers have become more powerful than the sheriff. And you're led to this realization with Cooper that what's happening with Vault-Tec and these companies is what's happened to the world, as the US government really no longer has that much control over them. And they're going to take advantage of this situation as much as possible.
Yeah, it's very much that. Well, to be honest, the government kind of becomes a joke at a certain point because the Enclave starts running things, and then off to the oil rig, which you get a little mention of at the beginning, where it's like, oh, the president's not been seen. Who's running the country? But he's a very good bridge to the wasteland and the world of the before. Also, just very good acting because he's like. Both characters are very different but the same. He becomes an icon for Vault Tech. You know, a lot of the Vault Boy stuff gets based upon him and his mannerisms.
Things he learned from his time in the war. And you see,
yes, he served in Alaska.
He grows to resent that slowly but surely, as he kind of doesn't like to be associated with Vault Tech in the end of the world, as he gets ostracized by other actors and people. We also see is like quite tragically is like how humanity in Cooper Howard vanishes but is still there in fragments and in shadow through the actions of the Ghoul, who has become just someone who is so disturbing and violent at points. I think one of the scenes when he cuts off Lucy's finger is horrifying because you're just left there like, oh my god, as he has no shame in what he's doing.
You forget that she bit his finger.
I mean, still, not exactly a measured response. Eye for an eye makes the world blind, finger for a finger, you know.
Makes the world...
Makes you Homer Simpson. It's not very good. It's a bad system. I think the Ghoul is just such an interesting character because of how just miserable they seem. They're someone that's so broken at a point almost because everything they ever cared about either turned out to be a lie or they lost long ago.
Yeah, he's just like, what keeps him going? You don't know that until near the very end.
Yeah.
But he's just somebody who's seen so much, done so much. Things he's probably not proud of, but had to do it for the sake of survival. Like, he meets a fellow ghoul who is turning feral, and Lucy doesn't really know what feral ghouls are, so she doesn't really, understand what's happening, but he knows full well, and he lets him kind of talk along so he can then put him out of his misery without him knowing. And then immediately he's like, okay, I'm going to start cutting him up because I need food to survive.
He needs ass jerky.
Yeah, he needs ass jerky, don't make yourself. But
I think one of my favourite scenes with the Ghoul is the scene with dog meat where it mirrors his time with his own dog back in the old world.
Yeah, because
Roosevelt.
he disables the dog by like stabbing it at a certain point. He clearly knew where to like hit the dog to disable it, but not
Yeah,
to
kill it.
kill it.
Yeah.
Which probably goes to show his well what he's had to do.
But it also shows like that there are some rules to the character because it's clear that he is somewhat of an animal lover, even if he doesn't really.
Has he got the perk?
I think he does. I think he does.
Maximus has idiot savant at times.
Lucy's got good natured.
But he's definitely the bad karma character.
Yeah.
Now, something interesting I like in the show is like in the game, you can be bad karma, good karma, blah, blah, blah. But you know, due to actions and that, you can change karma. You see Lucy still be a good karma character by the end of the show, but it's slowly going back down to neutral. While Maximus kind of has a back and forth where it goes up and down. And it's seeming like by the end of the series, it went up a bit, but the position he's left in, it might go right back down to evil.
Yeah.
While the ghoul character starts off just bad karma.
But
But
then,
then
you realize,
time with Lucy, he's grows and grows back up to. I say he's a neutral right now.
yeah, I'd also say that like when you understand more of the character and what he's driven by, that also kind of leads to you realizing he isn't really bad. A person willing to do bad things to do the right thing. A man who justifies the end for the means for the end. You know.
So overall, the story is following Lucy to a degree, and then the two other characters. Now, the two other characters are after a Enclave scientist. Yes, an Enclave scientist who has left the organization, which very brave. And then Lucy is looking for her father. So we have two characters looking for one person, one character looking for another person, but they interconnect. Now, this Enclave scientist, we only see a brief bit of the Enclave, and it looks very bleak, very oppressive.
Enclave.
He leaves with something in his neck, along with. Okay, it's not called dog meat, but I'm going to call it dog meat.
It's dog meat. We all know it's dog meat.
And the Brotherhood from Orders of the Commonwealth are told to hunt this guy down and get that piece of technology, because, one, the Brotherhood technology.
Yeah.
Also, they hate the Enclave.
However, the Brotherhood's not the only people interested in this technology.
The Enclave put out bounties for their ex-scientist, hoping that somebody will kill him before, you know, they reveal what he has. And Cooper Howard, the ghoul, has found this bounty, he was resurrected.
Yeah, he was woken up to.
He was woken up and then sent on his way after a little action scene with a very badass theme. Now this has all three characters kind of run into each other in Philly, which is a shanty town, probably reminiscent of Megaton, but a lot more populated than Megaton.
Yeah, I'd say so. It reminded me a lot of like old Fallout 3 when you find just a random little shack town.
The ghoul catches up and finds the scientist and is like, okay, you're coming with me, fucking dead or alive. And Lucy tries to stop. Good-natured person tries to de-escalate the situation. Doesn't go well. And then Maximus comes out with his new power armor.
Which he obtained very morally.
Which he attained very morally. But to be fair, Night Tight had it coming. There's an action scene that takes place, and that's when Lucy learns that Moldaver is the one looking for the scientist, basically to get him to her.
The scientist also asked Lucy to kill him because during that nice little altercation between him and the ghoul, he lost his footing a little. He just couldn't stand on his own 2 feet no more.
The ghoul using like a rocket-powered revolver is something I didn't know I needed in my life.
Yeah, so
because
cool.
I hate to do this, but it is like the bolt gun where it does an initial explosion and then has a rocket projectile afterwards, because it works in the same manner.
I'd also say like the entire action sequence in that town is really cool and so reminiscent of Fallout. One thing it really reminded me of was how Fallout 3's engine, or at least its violence, was based a lot off the Burnout franchise, which has these intense zoom-ins and explosions as you crash your car. It's something that's taken forward with the games and thankfully taken into the show as the violence has turned up to 11. There's so many moments in that show where something just happens and it's so brutal, just showing blood, gore, and everything, and it's just incredible. I love it.
It is a bloody, gory show, and it somehow captures the cinematic killing of Fallout very well, in my opinion. I will say, like, people will be like, "Oh, it's a bit goofy with like the power armor flying about scene with being launched about. But hey, have you never seen the body glitch out in Fallout?
I was about to say.
Pretty much the same thing. You know, I'll be walking in the Mojave or the Capital Wasteland and just see something go Weong! But eventually, the Enclave scientist dies and Lucy takes the head. And then this is where it kind of leaves the three characters all trying to get the head. Obviously, Lucy has it and has a head start.
I'd say the show from
has a head start.
This is pretty funny. The show from there kind of becomes this quite good like race between all three characters. As some of them,
I would describe it as the tutorial mission being done. All right, you've done the necessary like missions. Now you can go in any direction you want. Because somehow the show manages to capture that feeling of, oh yes, I'll do this main mission 2 years later in the game. Oh yeah, my son. All right.
It is really fun how like constantly things happen that drag them away, and I think the show does a really good job of making those things feel natural and just kind of happen.
Yes, the Ghoul's quote about the big golden rule of the wasteland being "Now shall not get sidetracked by random bullshit." It's like, don't know about that one.
For there, we also get introduced to one of my favorite side characters in the show, which is Thaddeus, who is sent to serve under Maximus, who he believes is Titus. And I love this guy. He gives one of the funniest performances in the show. He has the best, like, most over-the-top reactions.
He's very much a companion.
Yeah. The way I describe him is if Charlie Kelly from It's Always Sunny ended up in the wasteland. It's so brilliant.
And also the big giant bags, that is just simply like...
Genius.
You know, the over-encumbered. Every companion is basically a Brahmin waiting to have a saddle of sort of crap put on them.
The story that a companion can have is really just an added bonus because they're there as the meat sack that carries your fat, man. And that's really important.
We get a side plot with the Vault. Norm, who is Lucy's brother, along with his friend Chet, trying to figure out what's going on because they sneak into Vault 32. This is where Norm finds out that Vault 32 is full of raiders and then rushes back. But why was it empty? Why was it dead, you know? And then it's them kind of piecing together that something isn't quite right, which I think, okay, me and you fans of Fallout, we know the vaults are fucking, you know, suspicious as fuck.
Always have ulterior motives.
But speaking to people who don't know anything about Fallout, they don't know that. So the show, you know, I think does it very masterfully for people who haven't played the games to show that maybe the vaults aren't all what they seem.
Yeah.
Because me and you knew immediately there's something up. Well, versus, you know, people who don't know that, I think the way they've naturally added that mystery and then how they reveal it at the end was very well done.
I think so too. I think how you slowly piece it together a little, only to really get thrown off by what you'd see in the end. One of my favorite things about it was how much it really made me grow to really enjoy the character of her brother. Because at the beginning, he starts out as kind of just this annoying little brother cliche, and you don't like him a lot. But slowly, you start to see that, like, despite his own beliefs that he wouldn't really be able to survive in the wasteland, he is a very cunning and clever son of a bitch who's able to
Small frame.
Yeah. He's constantly using his head and his agility from being a little guy to like put together this mystery. I love that element as well.
Chet is very much, he doesn't want to see it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to see there's something wrong. He knows deep down there is, but he doesn't want to see it.
One of my favorite interactions is once the Vault 33 overseer, who's been put in charge now, reveals that people will be moved into Vault 32. When they see it, it's been completely cleaned up. And Norm goes to see Chet, with Chet being moved into the vault and not wanting to just move on from the situation. Norm calls him a coward, to which Chet responds, "We live in a vault. We're all cowards."
Yeah, because there's a lot of vaults out there that are like control vaults or not control vaults that did take on the wasteland. I did try to make things better, you know. I don't want to say Vault 15, because technically I did form Shady Sands. It wasn't like by design to
some vaults by accident. Like there's that vault in Fallout 4 Vault. Is it 118? The one with the
181. It's 80 something, I think.
Yeah, 181 or maybe something like that.
I don't think. No, I'm pretty sure it's 81 or 80 something. I think Vault 118 is the fucking music one in 3.
Oh, you're right. It is. That's not a.
Yeah, that's not it. That was mentioned though by Frederick Sinclair.
Yeah, that's something.
Lucy, I'll say, is more of a main character than the other two to a degree because both the main characters spend time with Lucy individually.
Lucy, well, I think Lucy is because they are how we navigate the world of Fallout. No matter what, you always navigate the Fallout universe to some extent through a vault dweller or someone with a pit boy. Yes, I had to add that in just because of the courier.
Yeah.
Constantly, Lucy is met with a lot of the challenges that come with the wasteland, and there's a lot of situations where Lucy's good nature doesn't prove like fruitful. I think one that comes to mind is Maximus and Lucy crossing the bridge with the two fiends. I think that's quite a sad but also really intense scene with the timing.
Mm.
Like you're really there wondering, are they going to get past this bridge like without having to get in a gunfight? And
Yeah, you
as a
want the best, that like we don't
yeah,
need to always be suspicious or like,
I
have
think
to kill and
yeah.
rob each other to survive. And like Maximus is like point on, like I don't trust them.
I think that's something that is a kind of a fun advantage of being a Fallout fan because I feel we both knew how that interaction was going to go down, but we really wanted it not to go down like that. And I really enjoyed that scene. As you see Lucy just like break down, just being like, why is the world like this? What's going on? Why did you need to do it like this? You could have both crossed.
Yeah. And then you had her with the ghoul, and well, the ghoul kind of finds her amusing in a way. It's like,
Yeah,
this is what like people used to be like, and you're not going to survive. You're going to end up like me one day.
that's
Because
also
he's very much kind of like breaking her down. I don't. It's like a part of it could be spite. A part of it could be like genuine. Like you're not going to survive, and I'm going to show you in my own sick and twisted way. I find it humorous, but also it will benefit you.
I think when you know about his history with Vault Tech, the fact that she's from a Vault definitely probably makes him a bit more spiteful.
And then this is where we get introduced to a drug that seems to withhold the feral process, which is new. And Lucy destroys that, and the girl's like, well, I'm going to sell you to these people who, have Matt Berry harvest your organs.
Speaking of, my favorite moment of watching the show with you was when that happened because it literally, I didn't know Matt Berry was going to be in it. It caught me off guard so well. Just hearing him be there, like, "Hello there, it's me. I'm here to harvest your organs." And I was like, "I know you."
After it, Lucy does stay true to herself and even help the girl, even though she's selling organs. But she does help him, and then leaves to find Maximus again by. How did they bump into each other again? Oh
Well,
wait, his
Maximus
armor.
yeah, he gets
Maximus.
caught.
Maximus is honest with his companion, and the companion being like, they're gonna kill you,
Yeah,
and like kind of Maximus obviously has a panic reaction, which then immediately makes him,
things worse.
he deactivates the armor and leaves.
Not before also stomping on Thaddeus' little toesy woesies. This also leads to like one of the most like I think mind-boggling parts of episode 5, as we see them wandering, where a major bombshell is dropped on all Fallout fans or people that know the games.
Measure bombshell. Fucking shut up.
I didn't even mean that actually. I'm in the zone.
I wish the cloud upon ye. All right. But yes, Shady Sands, the first capital of the NCR, is gone, nuked. And then we find out that Maximus was a citizen of the NCR. I'm guessing after round about the explosion happened, the Brotherhood was like, that's like a nuke. What happened? And investigate, and then I'm guessing found survivors. And if they were probably brought them into the Brotherhood. Yeah.
If you had nice smooth skin, you're perfect for the Brotherhood. But yeah, the scene really does just for Fallout fans, it's like one of the biggest like just changes and really has challenged a lot of people's understanding of Fallout.
No,
Some
it's
people
very controversial, but I do find it kind of slightly ironic that a nation that emulated the old world fell the fate of the old world. But at the same time, it has been confirmed the NCR are not gone. The NCR are still around, but just very scarcely about that area. To be honest, I probably wouldn't want to live next to, like a nuclear crater.
Yeah, that's not good for like the value, like that's
No,
bringing
even
the
just the
whole neighborhood
psychological
down.
aspect, yeah, just instead of like the radiation. But then there's a whiteboard scene, I don't know, whiteboard, a chalkboard scene, and it says follow Shady Sands 27, but it has an arrow pointing to the bomb. We don't know exactly what the fall of Shady Sands was. Maybe the town just became more run down. Maybe it was the election of Kimball, the first battle of Hoover Dam, with like the Mojave draining more resources.
The corruption of trading in the NCR for
caravan. Yeah, the Brahmin barons. Could be many things, and I hope we see more of it.
I think
could it have been done a little bit better? Like, say like instead of just the nuke join, they said the end of Shady Sands? Probably. But I think it's an interesting take. Enclave fans are having a fun time. Elijah fans are having a fun time. Brotherhood of Steel fans are having a fun time. Legion fans are having a fun time. House fans are having a fun time.
NCR fans cannot be found for comment. But
Yeah,
what
NCR fans could be found for comments screaming, "The bear, the bear, the bear."
the way I will say
No, they've been
something
found commenting on Nuclear Winters. What they finally got.
I will say one thing that really made me think of there was the quote from House when he talks about the NCR. It's like, if you want to see how governments like the NCR end, just look outside.
Yeah,
And
if you want to see the fate of democracies, look out the window.
it's such a I think it's quite interesting and a unique direction to take it. Like when I like first saw it, which was unfortunately spoiled for me, thanks Twitter, it really messed with me a bit because I was like, whoa, what does this mean? But it wasn't in a way where I was angry at the writers or anything, because being angry at writers for making any decisions is stupid.
It's that weird way of like, alright, and like, for example, Warhammer can't change much because then, the setting completely changes. The Imperium dies or whatever, which kind of sucks in certain ways. Like, there can be advancements, but like, there can only be, to a degree, certain amount of advancements. Well, this took the brazy step of like, what happens if we just nuke it? But at the same time, they do leave enough in there to not completely destroy the NCR. As it says in the billboard, the first capital. Like I said, maybe the corruption, the Brahmin Barons, maybe it's a new capital in the hub, New Reno, anywhere else that's got more power.
I think it's not a decision that really, I think, takes away from Fallout, as some people like to
Yeah, to take away
cry
from
about.
Fallout New Vegas, but like,
It really, if
you
anything,
can
I
you can
feel
make that
adds.
argument of like, okay, Fallout 2 takes away from Fallout 1 because you can't join the Master.
Yeah, I feel like it really overall. I think it actually kind of in a way adds to Fallout in a wee bit. I think it makes
I
things a
think
lot
it
more
puts
interesting.
like, everyone talks about how the Legion will fall because they fall Kaiser and blah blah blah. But at the same time, a lot of people do forget that many people say how the NCR is overextending. It's becoming more corrupt. It's like becoming stretched too thin. It's going to snap. As Arcade Gad talks about, like, you're going to start rolling over people. Some people are going to end up hitting you back. And yes, they managed to defeat the Enclave. They managed to defeat the Brotherhood of Steel, but even then, they never completely wiped both of those groups out. They managed to kick them out of their territory to most of the degree, but the Brotherhood, for all its faults, is still around in the West Coast and can put up a fight against the NCR. Probably not a great fight, but still can put up a fight.
From there, the characters then end up in Vault 4? It's Vault 4, isn't
Yes. Yes, in Vault 4, which is a vault that's kind of become a control vault by accident.
It's a vault where people from Shady Sands have been taken in, and at first you're led to believe that this vault is kind of like paradise and almost very normal. That's quickly destroyed once you meet the Cyclops.
The Overseer?
Yeah. Suddenly you're instantly hit with that kind of classic Fallout weirdness where you're just there like, what the fuck? And I think it's really interesting. I think, in a way, Vault 4 serves as a great introduction to the fact that not all vaults are built equal.
True, with some controlling experiments, but the experiment ended up leading to the people who ran the vault losing power, and now it is a free fair. And it does this weird thing where it looks perfect, then it swings to the other side where it looks suspicious, and it swings all the way back. It's like, actually, no, it's fine.
Yeah. I feel
Which I found was a kind of a fun double twist.
Yeah, I really liked that twist. And I found the scene where they banish her really funny. Especially, I think, honestly, I love how much Vault 4 expands on Maximus as well, because you get this moment where Maximus kind of, like, at first he's so suspicious, but once he gets these amenities and it's like a hot shower and, of course, caviar and, was it clams?
Oysters.
Oh, he got oysters. Yeah, he just falls in love and just decides, I'm just, this guy's
Oh yeah, he's lived on the wastelands. They were the Brotherhood are militarist group. They live by like necessity, not by want.
This man probably
Let's
has
say
cold
want,
showers
unless it's
every
technology.
day. It's cold
Yeah.
showers.
No, he's lucky if he gets a cold shower every day.
I was going to say cold showers or a dust storm every day for his his hygiene routine. That I think it's quite sad because you see him really grow to realize like how great or at least how sweet of a deal a vault is. But
if you get a good one,
yeah, he has to kind of leave it to also look after Lucy, but also just because in the end of a misunderstanding.
It shows the naivety of vault dwellers in the world, alright? Because they don't know really much what's going on outside, alright? The worlds took a very brutal turn, and they're all safe, they're all comfy, they all have their nice little... Well, it depends on the vault, really, but the good vaults, you know, they're very pampered.
Vaults that are built to last. And I think another thing that's quite funny about this scene is just I love just like the kind of culture that's formed from this vault because of how many people have taken in from Shady Sands, where there's like, and these goddamn surfies coming in, taking our jobs.
I don't know what you call it. It's not like it's a slur,
Yeah,
a class
yeah,
slur,
I'd
or
say a
like
slur.
a
Right?
yeah, but
Seems
no, but like it's not like a sexist
a
slur or like
derogatory
a
term. There you go.
yeah, it's a derogatory term to people from the north being directly up. But yes, Vault 4 is a good show of a modern, nice vault, which are very few and far between, and it's kind of a home reminder for Lucy, but it
It's
also
also
reminds her of her like mission to find her dad.
I'd also say that around about this time, we're getting more and more backstory for Cooper as we explore him starting to not trust his wife, as he's given this
Yes,
listening device by a
Moldaver.
yeah, Moldaver, who at that time is a socialist, like kind of speaker, I'd say.
I know, I don't think she is a socialist because she says she's not a communist. She just says that communism's labeled for any person that disagrees with them, which fits more in line of the 1950s Red Scare.
It creates quite an interesting dynamic as it goes kind of between this and adds to the mystery. As now you have this mystery of what's going on with Walter and like his wife. What's happening here?
And then we meet Bud, who used to work at West Tech and developed the 45 power armor.
The actor who plays Bud, I have to say, so Michael Esper, he does such a fantastic job at playing this sleazy businessman who you just kind of love to hate. It's the way he
Yeah,
talks about everything. You're just there like, God, just stop.
yeah, because Cooper, I don't know, like his wife's kind of been a bit distant and cryptic about certain things when it comes to the vault.
Yeah, she does
And then
slip
his
up.
fellow actor, Cooper's fellow actors are being like, you gotta like come to one of these meetings, and that's where he gets
Yeah.
introduced to Moldaver. Says, "Oh, really? You trust your wife? Then listen in and see for yourself."
We
Which
also,
he doesn't want to do initially,
yeah,
and then he does eventually listen in. He drops her off at work and then
yeah.
follows her into the building to then listen into a meeting
And
between Bud, Betty, his wife, and the representatives of Big Mountain, Frederick Sinclair, who was the owner of the Sierra Madre, and of West Tech,
yeah,
Ripco, and Robco, Mr. House. Now, they discuss the business potential of letting these corporations use their vaults to basically come up with scenarios and test ways to see what corporate method is the best way to rebuild the world.
in a way that's similar and reminiscent of how Cooper's friend explains that the ranchers have become too powerful for the sheriff. We see these corporations now become setting up plans and almost a sick game between all of them to see who could win out the world and who could rebuild it the best.
You do see some peoples in the shadow who are most likely the Enclave, or members of the Enclave. The only person that seems a bit hesitant on it is House.
That's because House is, based.
House is based and House build. House is a bit hesitant on it, while the others kind of go like, maybe we could do this, that, the other thing. That's where you get West Tech representative talking about the Super Soldier Mutation Serum, aka Vault 87 from Fallout
Yeah.
3.
And the
Or
FEV virus.
yes, with or Frederick Sinclair mentioning about, I'm pretty sure it was Vault 118 he mentioned. I don't know the exact quote he was. Or there was mention of like Vault 95 with like the children being taken and then made into something else. I think it was
Yeah.
Super Soldier program as well.
And while all this is happening, Cooper is just having this absolute breakdown as he realizes, as he's like, hears all this, he's praying that his wife will set them straight and like tell them how wrong and evil they're being, only for her to suggest that they drop the bombs first.
To guarantee that they'll get what their investors want, which doesn't completely confirm the Vault Tech dropped the bomb. It just means they had plans to, because,
Yeah.
well, first scene of episode 1, she very much cares for her husband and daughter. Be very silly for her husband and daughter to be nowhere near a vault when the bombs go off, but at the same time, we'll bet we'll get more on that in season 2.
I am interested to see how things expand from there, as I do feel sort of that I don't know if it's really implied or not, but there is a moment in episode 1 where the wife of the guy taking the photo of Cooper for his kid tells her to drop something when coming to the Vault Tech thumbs up, almost suggesting there's been a falling out of sorts. I'm wondering if perhaps Cooper told his wife that he knows what she did, and this leads to some major shit going down between them.
Yeah, but I imagine she'd like kidnap the child and put it in the
Yeah.
vault, but we don't know. There's a lot of speculation that we still, even though Vault-Tec had plans to drop the bomb, we don't know if they actually did. At the same time, we get revealed that a big fan of Howard Cooper, and who has been the assistant of Betty, his wife, is no other than Lucy's father. Cryogenically froze themselves in Vault 31 to then do a kind of like that game that we mentioned where a manager would take over Vault 31, or no, a manager would take over Vault 32 and 33 and, run it the way they believed they'd run it.
Yeah, as a
Vault
breeding
32's
program.
one didn't go well. Vault 33 one did go well to a degree, because this is where we learn that Lucy's mother learned the truth that on the surface there were people surviving, which kind of goes against what Hank and, well, Vault-Tec want. They want the surface to get wiped out and rebuild it in their own weird corporate methods to see which person will, or which corporate method will win.
It should be said that at this point in the story, like, while all this has been happening in the past, Lucy and Maximus have made their way to Radio Tower, where they were able to reclaim the head as Maximus slowed down the Brotherhood of Steel, who were closing in on them. While Lucy would go and confront Moldaver, only to be told the truth of everything by her, as she revealed the truth about her mother and Hank. Or my bad, Paul Atreides.
A very just kind of like, oh shit scene, because Lucy has made all this journey. She's done so much just to find out that her dad went after her mother, who took her to Shady Sands after learning the truth, and Hank keeping it a secret. And then Hank, being, a normal single father, soon to be single father, takes Lucy, goes back to the vault, and somehow drops a nuclear weapon on it, meaning that Hank McClane is the man responsible for the destruction of Shady Sands, which makes Fallout 76 a lot more darker now, because the whole Vault thing of reclaim the nuclear silos. The ghoul recognizes Hank, which is an interesting scene.
Yeah, as all hell breaks loose in the observatory.
Well, Maximus kind of has to give the location up, or he's going to get killed.
Which is here, and in that scene, we also get a very interesting conversation between him and the Elder, who talks about how the Brotherhood has lost its way. It needs to be rebuilt by people like Maximus, who are strong-willed.
And him.
Yeah, which is quite creepy and interesting, and something I'm really excited to see.
But the MacGuffin that the Enclave scientists had would give them that power and leverage. So you have a fight between the Brotherhood, you have a fight between the remnants of the NCR in this region.
And you also get that really cool scene with the ghoul, where he's like, I know I used to wear that armor back in the day. They had one major flaw.
It was like, oh well, the T-45 had this major flaw. Let's see if it still has that flaw.
It honestly feels like Batman or something. Is he shooting them all in the dark and running around them? It's so cool. I love that scene, and it's just all the more reason why I love the ghoul.
Because people be like, oh, how do they? They're all Brotherhood soldiers, should be strong. Yeah, but the Brotherhood over reliant on technology at points. Well, imagine Cooper's had to do much things with less resources to survive.
Yeah, the ghoul is a true survivor, through and through. The ghoul is like a max level Fallout player, as my brother put it, and I really agree with that. It's just someone who's got all these skills and is ready to just kill. Lucy
learning the truth, she's almost just in shock. Maximus comes to her, frees her father, and then Lucy tells him the truth, that it was him that bombed Shady Sands, meaning the events of his life were altered by Hank.
And he had just let that man out of his cell. And a quite
tragic Who then got it. Who then got in some power armor and knocked them out. And then, right when Lucy's unable to shoot her dad, the ghoul comes in and basically scares him running.
Intimidates.
And that's where we learn that he asks, where's his family? And that's the thing that's keeping him going, is his search for his family. Probably in one type of vault or another.
Possibly Vault 31 for all we know.
Maybe.
Considering that's where Hank is. But I think that's really...
And Norm, who figured out what was going on, managed to get into Vault 31 and met Bud in a brain in the jar. And that's what's revealed.
A Rimba I'll have, a brain in a Rimba.
But then Bud's like, oh, well, I'm not going to let you out, so you better get in a cryopod or starve to death.
And
that's where that story leaves.
One other thing that also gets revealed to us is that during this altercation between Moldaver and Lucy, when they're talking, we discover that Lucy's mum is in fact now been completely ghoulified.
A feral.
Yeah. Hank is like the most successful divorced dad in the world because, like,
Yes.
not only did he get the kids, he also nuked her neighborhood.
Move out Elon buying Twitter. Hank McLean nuking into soup. That's some true divorce dad energy. But Hank leaves, Maximus is knocked out. Lucy ends up putting her mother out of his misery. And we get to see what the MacGuffin does right before Moldaver passes
It's
away.
a cold fusion energy source which completely powers up.
Unlimited power, and it powers up the entirety of the Boneyard. I'm guessing that place was. Yeah, it was the
Yeah,
Boneyard because Elliot Observatory. And you do see fighting in the city for quite some time. So people will go like, "Oh, you don't really see the NCR." It's true, you don't see them huge presence in a physical manner. Who do you think the Brotherhood was fighting? Yeah, and then when you see like the bodies all over the place, you see like they're very much even when it comes to dead bodies. Which you might think, oh, they both took heavy losses. Yeah, but the Brotherhood can't take heavy losses. The NCR can. So even though the Brotherhood technically won the battle for what we saw at the end, it may have been a bit of a, well, it's not a complete Pyrrhic victory if they get access to cold fusion technology. Yeah, that's when Dane finds Maximus and was like, "You killed Moldaver," and then, basically kind of pushes him to become a knight, which might start pushing him towards that, to what the Elder wants. Elder of the Brotherhood of Steel, and having say in a chapter.
what should be said as well is during that final, in Moldaver's last moments, she looks at Maximus and tells him that now he has all this power. What's he going to do with it? And if he's going to do the right thing. And I think that's quite interesting the way they bring that up because throughout it, it's explained almost that, like, with all this power, like, some
Well, he's
people.
always wanted power because
Yeah,
you see that with the flashback of like the armor, and then Lucy helps him realize that getting power is one thing, but it's how you get power and how
yeah.
you handle that power.
That's what I was
And
going to say. Is like,
he got the power early on, and then he lost. He gave it up, and now he's getting it. A little bit like Dean. Somebody is not sure they want it.
what's interesting to me is, like, how is that going to get expanded on? Are we going to see Maximus, like, hold on to that power, or is he going to be corrupted by it? Which is something I'm
Yes,
interested in seeing.
is he going to be an Elder Alliance or a Maxim?
Who knows? Maybe he can go the Elijah route.
I know. I don't want that. Elijah route. Oh yes, bear bull, haha.
Should also be said that at this point, Lucy and the ghoul have promptly fucked
Teamed
off
up.
on a quest
Yeah.
to go and kill Lucy's dad, or at least stop him
I
from whatever he's planning.
not kill him, but basically to like find out more answers. Where it is revealed that Hank is went to New Vegas, which okay, we don't know how canon like the ending credits are, but from a distance, New Vegas looks very run down. Not,
Desolate
I
and
want to,
destroyed. Yeah.
yes,
And for some things in the end credits, which again, like, I don't know how canon they are, but
yeah.
it
We
seems
don't either. It seems like the NCR at least had some. Okay, if we take out
there
the
seems
end
to have
credits,
been a
what they are,
major
the
fight.
NCR were at least there. We don't know if that means they won the Battle of Hoover Dam. Maybe it was House. Maybe it was the Courier. Maybe they fought and then things got nasty in just a desolate road. We
Well, we
do see
did
a
see,
picture of a tunneler.
yeah,
And we do see a large amount of dead Deathclaws.
and a wall. I should
So
mention there's also a completely open fucking wall with tons of Securitrons laid out in front
with
of it.
with claw marks, which might mean like whether the tunnelers, maybe the tunnelers pushed Deathclaws out of their own territory, and Deathclaws like having to run, to no, it could be the fact that okay, tunnelers don't like light. Tunnelers in groups can easily kill Deathclaws. New Vegas is very bright.
Yeah,
Maybe Deathclaws, migrated towards
the
New
strip.
Vegas because yeah, it's bright and no tunnelers. But it definitely is becoming more like dust by the looks of it. And it's
Which
left me with a lot more questions, as any good show should have. Yeah, like, it's like, oh, and it validates the New Vegas. It kind of like,
to me, it, like,
Ulysses talks about this in
yeah,
Lonesome
it's
Road, that
the
it doesn't really matter who wins. The tunnelers will come, to the Mojave, and they are not prepared for it.
it is, in my opinion, the perfect way to kind of, I'd say, really end Vegas, or at least show it in a show.
It's a tragedy, the tragedy of New Vegas, in the sense that all this blood, all this,
Massive war and conflict wasn't worth it.
it wasn't worth it because at the end of the day, forces out with their power came in and wiped the slate clean.
That is very cool, and I'm
I
very
can't
excited.
wait for Hank to go up to the top of the Lucky 38 only to find Father Elijah.
As there's
Or
a
Yes
lot of
Man.
things I'm really excited for in season 2. For one, the most important question: did the Kings survive? They better have. I'll be very bummed if the Kings are dead.
Yes, I can't wait for season 2 of Fallout Dust.
Fallout Dust, so hyped. Cannot wait. There's a lot of questions it does raise, and a lot of things I'm interested to see. Like, I'm very excited to see like what really they are gonna have. Well, I think they will have to answer what really happened in Vegas. I'm excited to see if House survived, which a lot of people theorize he might have through possible like just being left on his life support with no control over Vegas or something like that.
Yeah, maybe he did win the Battle of Vegas, but the events played out that, led to the Vegas being like that. The same with like the NCR winning or any of the faction. The one faction is definitely not. It's not the Legion.
Yeah, there was not a lot of Legion. You didn't really see anything Legionary in that outro. If they,
No.
from everything that's
To be
there,
honest, I want them to show the Legion in the next show.
I hope so too. I'd like to see either the Legion or if just a suggestion since they seem to be taken from Dust a little, which I'm not complaining about. I love Dust. Maybe have the Legion fall into more tribes across the Mojave. That'd be cool. Just do it. Just make Dust. Just make Fallout Dust a TV
Just
show.
before Dust.
And I'd be so happy because Fallout Dust is awesome.
I don't think I can look at Elijah again.
He's always smiling. Always smiling.
Overall, I found the show to be great as both a Fallout show and just a show.
Yeah, for me, when it comes
the set
to the Fallout
designs
show,
are very good. The costumes are very good. It all felt very Fallout. I know people will be like, "Oh, it's a bit like Fallout 4." I find it kind of like had this weird Fallout 4 / New Vegas style at points.
I think it was the Fallout 4 style refined into something really cool. Like it's the best that kind of Bethesda Fallout's looked. And granted, certain elements of that design I'm not personally a fan of are still there, like that stupid fucking machine gun.
I think the machine gun works, so it's like a Brotherhood soldier holding it instead of just randomly
use it in a smart way by having it be that you had to be in a giant set of power armor to use it. And some things haven't really been seen yet, like super mutants, which I really hope they do justice to. We saw, oh my bad, we saw a hand. Not just anything, the hand. How they've handled ghouls and ferals, how they've shown off like the design of the world and vault suits and pit boys and just everything Fallout vibe wise. It's so perfectly done. I love how California was portrayed in this. It kind of fits how I always saw
it
in
is very controversial
Fallout game, to me at least. Whenever I thought of Fallout 1, like, because considering what you see in that game isn't a lot, or like enough to really form your own like real world look at, I think it kind of brought that to life really well.
I just feel like for what we saw was definitely the more uncivilized parts of California. I feel like
that,
when you zoom out a bit, may actually come across more of like the actual NCR territory, because like I said, I don't believe the NCR would stick around Shady Sands if it'd been absolutely nuked.
For all we know, the NCR might just be now currently set up in like, as you said, like the hub or New Reno, like, or
because the capital is at least somewhere else now. We know that because it was the first capital.
Vault City would be cool to see. But for me, like, I hope we get possibly more characters introduced as well. Like, I would like to see more people from the Mojave. Like, I'm not saying they need to be people we know. Some familiar faces would be nice to see. Like, but that's asking a lot, considering, like, you'd have to find.
You have to live up to the game.
Possibly seeing maybe the remnants of the Brotherhood from Vegas would be cool.
They survived, imagine.
Oh my god.
If Veronica gets proven wrong, the brother's like, okay, yeah, it's actually kind of funny. We did wait them out.
Hey, Veronica, remember when you said we were going to die? She's like, shut up, I'm not hearing this. He's like,
guess what? Well, guess what, Veronica? They all died. We survived.
I think I really would like to see some form of character from New Vegas return, whether it's someone small. No, not Elijah. God, I was thinking more maybe Marcus. That'd be cool to see.
Elijah.
Oh, God damn it. One of the things I think that's so great about this show is how it's helped me get people who have said they've been interested in Fallout but never really have a chance to try it to get into it. I have friends.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing.
My university who were
people are becoming fans of Fallout. Like I said, the sales in Europe for Fallout 4 have increased by 7,500. Fallout 76 has had its highest player base. People, Fallout 1 and the classics are getting played again. It's very much been a good, healthy thing for the franchise. Even though we disagree on the lore or like the direction, it's brought people to Fallout, both old and new, and that's the best thing we can have. And I swear to God, I'm not going to cry about the Halo show, and I will be very hopeful for the Warhammer show.
Yeah, let's just hope that the Warhammer show goes the Fallout route.
So overall, Fallout. I don't know. I don't like doing ratings by like numbers because they can be very arbitrary.
Yeah.
And people always got different systems. I would say it is worth a show to watch, both as a non-Fallout fan and a Fallout fan.
For me, as a fan of the world who's got extensive knowledge of Fallout, I'd say this is the most I've enjoyed Fallout media since New Vegas. And I think it's an amazing jump on point for people who want to experience the franchise. Just don't
Indeed.
ask me what game to play because I do not want to be a part of that stupid fucking debate.
Play whatever one catches your eye. All
There
right.
you go.
So yes, Fallout TV show. It good. Go watch it. Have a nice day.